Hello friends, welcome to Dots of Destiny. This is my video predictions for the 12 ascendants. As you all know that Rahu and Ketu is changing its signs. Rahu is moving into Pisces and Ketu into Virgo, as I have described in my previous video. This video will be just the predictions on all the 12 ascendants. Just a few lines, three things I want to point out is that since Rahu Ketu are nodes of the moon, as we know, so it can be, these predictions should be seen from the ascendant definitely, and also from the moon sign, because Rahu and Ketu are such nodal points that they affect our mind, and moon is the mind. So what our mind is thinking, and Rahu has a very big effect on the mind because it plays with the mind. So we definitely have to see it from the moon, where Rahu and Ketu is transiting. Secondly, Rahu is a receptive energy. It is that kind of an energy that wherever it will be traveling in your horoscope, that energy you can, it is easily available to you. That is the right way I can put it. That you'll be able to work with that energy. Whether the result comes or not, that is secondary, but at least you can grasp it and work with the energy. Ketu is more of internal energy, introspection, subconscious energy. So that is subtle, that needs to be understood. So this is how the nodes play their part in your horoscope in transit, or even in the natal position wherever they are. Okay, now if Rahu is originally situated in your Pisces and Ketu in Virgo, then it is a Rahu Ketu return, which happens after every 18 years. That is in your 18th year, then your 36th year, then your 54th. All these years you will have this Rahu Ketu return coming back of the Rahu in the same position where it is originally in the natal chart. Then that will have a significant effect, definitely. That year, if it comes back, that 18 months, wherever your natal Rahu and Ketu is, if it is in Pisces and Virgo, then it will definitely have an effect on you. And also if it is in 180-degree, there also certain effects are felt, definitely. Suppose your Rahu is in Virgo and Ketu is in Pisces, then also you will have some profound effect, because it is like 180-degree again changing with Rahu and Ketu positions. These three, see, Rahu is another point is that Rahu is a very materialistic energy, and it has a lot to do with the churning of your brain. So Rahu works in that way. These two nodal points, Rahu and Ketu, they work in two forms, in 3D, in the daily life that we have, that kind of a repercussion it will give, and also in the higher realms of life. So regarding your horoscope, wherever what kind of the nature of your horoscope is, the result will be of that kind. That is what I mean to say. So Rahu is a more 3D planet. 3D means the daily material life that we lead. Obviously, Rahu also gives materialist, spiritualistic things. That also happens. The biggest example is the horoscope of Swami Vivekananda. He has 12th Rahu in Scorpio, being a Sagittarius ascendant. So you know, there's no need of describing his feats in the subconscious and Advaita, whatever he has gone through in his journey of life, this lifetime. So Ketu is in the extreme cases, Ketu actually it usually tries to cut you from that energy. It's not a receptive, not very receptive energy. It is subtle. It always, where it transits, some conflicts will arise in that area where you will need to go deep inside within yourself. So that kind of an energy. In extreme cases, it usually cut you from the area, or some some death related process can happen. So this is what I wanted to say about the Rahu and Ketu, how you need to see it from your ascendant and moon sign. Now we'll jump into the ascendants. Timestamp will be given to you. So let's find out what is in store for us. For the Aries ascendant, Rahu will be shifting from your ascendant to the 12th house. Ketu will be in the 6th house. So you will have Jupiter alone now in your ascendant. It is a blessing actually. But Rahu in the 12th house, 12th house is a dreamy house. It is a house of moksha, salvation, losses, also trips to foreign countries that can also happen. So sometimes because it is the subconscious mind also, what we are trying to think within, Rahu gives lot of self-confidence also. Maybe I can say it gives a bit of overconfidence when it transits in the 12th house from the Lagna. And the person feels that yes, I can do whatever. It's a certain kind of confidence generates inside that person. Now confidence is good, but regarding to if you're in that phase of life, there's some kind of monetary dealings you're doing, or if you have some kind of loan or share market dealing, or you are in some kind of a financial related field or something, be very careful, because sometimes you may go overboard and create lot of losses that can happen, because Rahu stimulates the subconscious thing so much that you cannot resist the calling. And if you do too much about it, you should be very careful while giving also to anybody, because also 12th house is a house of philanthropy. So that people whom you are giving, or in some, if you're donating also, it can go for a unnecessary cause also, unnecessary waste of money also. If you give money, it cannot come back also. All these things, 12th house can happen. 6th house Ketu is foreign distance journeys you can have. If you are settled in foreign, if you want to go for foreign, you can dream all these things. Foreign related things are okay from the 12th house, going away from the motherland, because also it will be aspecting your 4th house also and your 8th house also. So Rahu has two aspects. I take two aspects, the 5th and the 9th, because 7th aspect already is Ketu is sitting over there, so I don't consider that too much. 7th already your Ketu is there in Virgo in the 6th house. 6th house matters like taking up loan should be avoided. If you had a long pending loan, then you can waiver off that loan. You should maintain coordination with the daily life that is going on. You can feel a little sluggish sometimes, out of tune with the daily life, because Ketu, as you know, it wants to shut down all these things, chaos and what is happening around you. And 6th house is a chaotic house, no doubt about it. So even you can have a spat with your uncles. If you have your maternal side uncles, you can have not such a good relationship. One thing that is very important about Rahu and Ketu is that suppose Ketu is traveling in the 6th house, so the daily affairs, the daily chores, you can go along with it, but whenever Rahu Ketu travels a house, the relationship of the house is somewhere spoiled. That kind of a effect Rahu and Ketu usually has, the relationship aspect of the house. Every house have some kind of a relationship attached to it. Whether it's the 10th house also, you have a boss over there that is going around your office area or your work professional area. So that relationship part of the thing, Rahu and Ketu creates some problem in that area. So 6th house, some peculiar disease can come, which you will not get a clue what kind of disease. Even the doctors may go clueless. So just wait and let the time pass better. You can do some healing practices, because Rahu can disturb your sleep also. So be a little precautionary attitude should be taken with this transit. Not a very easy transit though, but it will give mixed result. Now next ascendant is the Taurus ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, Rahu is going into the 11th house and Ketu is in the 5th house. 11th house, Rahu is a welcome house. It is the highest of Upachaya houses. It should give at least one big desire fulfillment if you have a well-placed Jupiter, because dispositor of Rahu is also very important. Where your Jupiter and what kind of desires, because the 11th Lord is the place where desires are. So that kind of a desire can get fulfilled, and you can get some recognition in society, some easy monetary flows, some easy friends. Also you can get some new group of friends which were first a little alien to you, or a little foreign to you, maybe not from your culture, maybe some other culture, but Rahu all in all will keep you quite busy and goal oriented in the 11th house. It's a good position, but don't get too much involved, because see, again and again I'll emphasize on the thing that it is in the dreamy house of Pisces. The energy can be too much, the dreams can go sometimes overboard, so look into that part of the thing. Otherwise the placement, the transit is good. Ketu in the 5th can give some mental distress. See, after all, 5th house is your intellect, and Ketu has razor sharp intelligence, it has, but sometimes it can go very haywire with that intellect or the intelligence part of the Ketu, because it's a headless planet. So spiritually you can learn certain mantra practices, you can practice some kind of a spiritual meditation or something, some mantra japa and all these things you can do for the 5th house. Some love affairs will get distorted in this phase. It may drift away, it may create some problems regarding the 5th house matters. Children, relationships with children can go into a fidgeting, because see, Virgo is a very perfectionist sign. Ketu being in the 7th, you can impose things on your children which they might not like, especially if they're grown up. So again, I'm telling the relationship part of the 5th house, because Ketu and Rahu are not relationship oriented planet. Rahu is a very worldly planet, Ketu is a spiritual planet. Both this is not where we, relationships don't get a boost whenever Rahu and Ketu transits in a particular house. So relationship should be taken a bit care of in wherever, especially your 11th and 5th axis is getting activated. So little bit relationship with your, if you have an ongoing partner, if you're in a love situation, or your children also, you should take a little bit care with them, don't force things on them. Now Gemini ascendant, Gemini, you're having 10th Rahu and 4th Ketu. Whenever Rahu Ketu transits the Kendra, there is some significant change usually in the life of the person, especially if you have a nodal axis present in the Kendra, that is 1, 4, 7, 10 in your birth chart. Then you can have some profound change in this transit of Rahu and Ketu. Rahu in the 10th house is a good transit. It will give some, you suppose ongoing work is going on, you can change the process of the work, you can inculcate certain other things, be a little wary of your boss, it can go a little overboard, let the energy settle and take a little easygoing approach, because Rahu will push you towards too much of anything becomes is a little problem. Wherever it is, wherever Rahu goes, it gives too much energy into that area. So you can, obviously you should do your things about the 10th professional house, whatever it concerns. You can have some name fame also, you can get some better projects also, all these things. Relationship with father can go a little problematic, because 10th house we see the father also. If you have a natal planet over there, then also Rahu can boost that planet, the effect of that planet. And 4th house Ketu is not a good transit, to be frank. If somebody wants to go abroad outside the native place, that is that Ketu can help you in that process. But Ketu is discontentment, lot of discontentment is felt at the heart, some kind of a void, how much you don't like to stay in your home, you want to go outside, you do want to harness the energy of Rahu, but the fourth house suffers, and the significance of the fourth house can also suffer. Like mother can have some health issues which may not be easily detected, because Ketu is such a planet, you cannot detect it easily. Clueless, little bit clueless what is happening. The relationship can get a little estranged, a little marred in some area. Ketu, wherever, if you have a planet in the fourth house, or if it is passing to your moon or something, then relationship with the mother can be a problem. So this is a good placement, definitely. Fourth house Ketu is like in the materialistic world, in the normal world that we live in, fourth house Ketu is very transformative. It will give a lot of transformation within yourself. But 10th house Rahu is good for going out and presenting yourself to the world and taking full advantage of this. Suppose you had been planning for a long time something in the professional area, you should take full advantage of it. Rahu will give you that energy, boost you with that energy. Okay, after Gemini comes Cancer. For Cancer people, Rahu comes to your 9th house and Ketu into 3rd house. So Rahu 9th house is a okay placement. It is not very good, it is neither bad, it is a mixed result. You will have higher philosophical thinking, because see, Pisces is and you are such a ascendant that Jupiter gets exalted on your ascendant. So your 9th house is Jupiter, on the Lagna Jupiter gets exalted, though your 6th house is Sagittarius. Okay, that's okay, some problem is there also. But if Jupiter is well situated in your horoscope, 9th house Rahu will give a boost to your spiritual thinking, your spiritual learning, higher thinking, higher learning. If you have craving for going outside the country and doing some courses, this Rahu can help you in that. To a different foreign land, it can help you in that also. So even long distance journeys can also happen with Rahu being in the 9th house. If you are running a Mahadasha, Antardasha of Jupiter, if the dispositor Jupiter is well placed, it is good, then it is good. And also Ketu in the 3rd house is also good only, because 3rd house, see, this is a decision making house, it is a courage house, maybe, but slowly. Ketu is not a very maybe sudden results you don't need from that area. Take time to build up the decision. It will help in your 3rd house area, because 3, 6, 10, 11 is good for Ketu also, not bad. At least those areas, after 18 months you will find that if you want to change your locality, that can also happen. Ketu will help you in that. It will cut you off from the place which maybe you are staying somewhere you don't like staying anymore in that area. You can shift to a new area. So that can also happen. Ketu, but relationship in the 3rd house, like if you have younger siblings, that can little bit suffer, because you may feel that the person is behaving in a strange way, because Virgo is, it is a very critical sign, and so Ketu being there, you can criticize them. Your communication things may be different, but you can start different technology related, advertising, some media related things, because Ketu is also photography. So some kind of that kind of a hobby if you are having, then it is good. Traveling to different places, because Rahu is in the 9th and Ketu is in the 3rd, it will give you new ideas also. Slowly you can harness that kind of energy from the 3rd house. But yes, again, with the father relationship can be a little difficult, because Rahu gives some edginess maybe in the relationship, and Ketu also, it gives some strangeness to the relationship with the siblings, younger siblings. So, but otherwise the transit is not bad. What I'm trying to say, it is not a bad transit. It is a mixed towards better transit. Now I come to the Leo ascendants after Cancer. Now Leo ascendants, Rahu is traveling in the 8th house and Ketu in the 2nd house. Now here Rahu in the 8th is a very mystical planet. Already Pisces is the 12th house and it is traveling into the 8th house. Many life transformative things can happen. If you have a well placed Jupiter, then those transformations can be good also, because Rahu, as it is having an aspect on your 4th house and the 12th house. It will give lot of transformations to your personality. And Ketu being in the 2nd house, you will be able to speak somewhat, you will be able to express through that language of Ketu. That is a very spiritual, mystical language. Ketu, when it is in the 2nd house, that will be you will be able to if you are a preacher, if you are a teacher, if you are a motivational teacher, if you have good planets in the 2nd house, and if Jupiter is also well placed, then you can do all these things, some kind of speech related, but you can also have some problem with your teeth. Then you can shun some food, because Ketu is a very because it'll some new regime you can start with your diets. You can cut off the old diets, you can start with some new diets. That can happen if Ketu goes into the 2nd. So you can go into better, you can turn into a vegan. That can also happen, because if it has a spiritual touch to your horoscope, then you can turn into a vegan also. And Rahu in the 8th can give long pending legacies also, some inheritances, some good money from your income tax return, can be insurance which you have been waiting for. It can be generated through Rahu. Rahu in 8th is not bad, but don't go overboard, because it's a hidden deep ambition that is within you, that Rahu will keep churning as it goes into the 8th house. So 8th house is not all bad. Obviously it is a transformative house, 100% that is there, but Rahu, if you use it in a proper way, if you can use it, if Guru or Jupiter gives you, because Jupiter is traveling in your 9th house, it is seeing your ascendant, then it will go to your 10th house. So these conditions are good for Jupiter. So if you have a sane way of thinking, you can generate lot of transformation through this this transit of Rahu Ketu in the 2nd 8th axis. Though the axis is difficult, I must say that 2nd and 8th axis is not a easy axis for Rahu and Ketu. Whether Rahu is in the 2nd, Ketu in the 8th, or the other ways, what Ketu in the 2nd, Rahu in the 8th, it is not a easy transit. It is a energy which has to be dealt a little carefully. Ketu traveling into your 2nd house in extreme cases can separate you from your family, if that kind of conditions prevail. If you have a Ketu Antardasha, Mahadasha, certain things you have to do, you have to go out and separately stay with them. Or in extreme cases, if there is some old ailing people in your house, some demise can happen in that case. So, but that will be sudden, because Ketu comes with a bit of suddenness. But you should take control of your speech. Ketu is, because it is the 2nd house of speech, so better speak less and speak mindfully, because unnecessary speaking, because Ketu is razor sharp, it can create hurt with other people around you. So it is a very tricky transit. I cannot say it is good or bad. It depends on where Jupiter, and because Mercury is a fast running planet through the horoscope in 12 houses, so you have to a little bit take care of it and glide through the transit. That is how I'll put it. Next ascendant is Virgo. For Virgo, Ketu is coming in the 1st and Rahu in the 7th. This is also not an easy transit. Whenever Rahu Ketu is there in the 1st and 7th axis, the transits are not easy, and let alone the natal positions, it is not an easy. It will bring up lot of things. You will feel, because Ketu is on the Lagna, you will feel quite left out. You can feel a kind of solitariness within yourself. You can feel that I don't want to get into the world and mix with a lot of people. I want to be all by myself. You can have a lot of, don't go into too much of thinking, because see, Rahu, because even your partner, 7th house Rahu, your partner may also behave a little strange. If you have some business, the partnership with the person can go to Rahu does good in Kama houses like 3, 7, 11, but it also gives a kind of deceptive energy in that house. So the partner can behave a little strange, or the partner can be too outgoing and not giving you enough time. That can also happen, or can be smothering, bossy, dominating. Suddenly you will feel that something has changed. What happened? But it is just the transit. It is just Rahu taking over the energy of that house. You have to understand that. So it will go away but it's a testing time for this 18 months. Whenever Ketu is there on the Lagna, you feel you're not getting noticed. Some sudden success Ketu gives, definitely, but even after the success also, you can feel that I didn't get the accolades that much I deserved, because Ketu will always try to deprive you in that area where it is traveling. If it gives certain gains also, still you can feel I'm deprived of better gains. That kind of energy Ketu emulates. So we have to go with the energy. You have to understand that this is a 18 months transit, and you slowly have to pass through the transit. Once Ketu goes from your Lagna to the 12th house, it is a much better position. From 2025 of May. So as of now, you have to be a little cautious, stay grounded, don't get upset with things, don't pull away too much. But if you want to be in a solitary state, you want to take away from if a time for yourself, give yourself time. The emotions may run very haywire. So don't lose heart, don't lose hope. Ketu will make you realize something, and then it will bring better results for you. It will, definitely. So it is a little tough time, but you can glide through it with a certain amount of caution within yourself. Best time is to go into some meditative practices, some yoga, some healing practices. This is a very good time. Whenever Ketu is on the Lagna, some internal big realizations can suddenly happen. So this is what I had for Virgo. Libra. The Libra ascendant was running Ketu on their Lagna, and now Ketu will be moving from the Lagna to the 12th house, and Rahu will be coming to the 6th house. This is a welcome change, actually. So if you had been thinking for a long time that you are unable to make decisions properly, you are not getting the recognition required, you are not able to deal with competitions, you are just at a loss, then now it is a better time coming for you, because Rahu gives some very good results in the 6th house. If Jupiter is well placed, then Rahu will make you win over enemies also. It will provide you some new changes in the work area, and also if you want, you can shift jobs also. Better kind of opportunities will be knocking at your doors. You can strike a relationship with uncles, maternal side, those who are living in a far off place. That can also happen, but regarding the loans, only problem is that Rahu gives a very ease of taking loans in the 6th house. So don't underestimate your enemies. Keep them at your nearest distance. Take loans, but don't take it overboard. You have to be careful regarding that. Health needs some caution, because Rahu can create some disturbances in the stomach and other parts, lower parts of the body. It may happen. If you have certain planets over there, Rahu is moving on going over those planets. Otherwise, it is a good position. It will be aspecting your 2nd house and the 10th house. So it is the Artha Trikon that is getting a better boost from a planet like Rahu. So I feel that that 7th Rahu problem that you were facing in from March 2022, now your from October 30th, slowly your concentration will be shifting towards the daily affairs of life, the Rogrin Chatru, which the 6th house is where Rahu wants to deal with all these things. That energy is appropriate for that house. So I feel it's a better transit for you all. Yes, some sleep disturbances can happen because Ketu is going into the 12th house, and you can feel a little irritated at times because there is so much energy in the 6th house. Sometimes you get too much with that energy. You want to back off, and then you can go to the 12th house of Ketu and introspect a little bit about the things that that already is quite taking up your energy the whole day. You can if you want to visit, you can go for different long distance places also. You can go, Ketu being in the 12th house, you can start some meditative procedures also for your health and betterment that is needed, because if you need the total energy to concentrate on the 6th house where Rahu is constantly making you deal with things, you need some resort to your taking up that energy. You have to store that energy also. So that energy you can take from the 12th house, going into deepest of your introspection, meditation, healing techniques, taking some rest, going away to locations where it is a little distant from little isolated locations. So that will boost up your energy. Again, you can come back to the 6th house and deal with these things. But please be careful with enemies, because see, Pisces is the 12th house. Sometimes Rahu may create such a maya, such an illusion, that you may not be able to judge whether this is the right or the wrong person in your daily affairs or in the work area, or people, even subordinates working under you, who is for you, which is not for you. So deal a little cautiously. Whenever Rahu Ketu transits an area, you have to be cautious also about that area. So, but it's a good transit for the Libra ascendant. Now I come to the Scorpio ascendant. Scorpio will have Rahu traveling in the 5th house and Ketu in the 11th house. This transit is good for Ketu. Ketu can, because again Upachaya houses, and Rahu Ketu does good in 11th house. Ketu can give some sudden status development, some good name, fame, some monetary this thing may happen. But again, one thing is that you have to deal with your networking circles quite diligently, because some people can get upset with the kind of maybe due to any reason, maybe no reason at all, people can get a little upset with your behavior, your kind of dealing with people, or you may little bit become overconfident, because Rahu being in the 5th house of your intellect, it creates a lot of dreams, big dreams. The intellect gets sometimes too much of boost, which needs ways of expressing that. So sometimes you can become a little overconfident, boastful, as Rahul will be it is aspecting your ascendant also. And Scorpio is a very ambitious sign. It is the 8th house of Marsian energy, which is deep, dark. Nobody knows how much ambition they have within themselves. Only a Scorpio themselves may know better than the others. They look very subtle from outside, but they have huge ambitions, and Rahu aspecting the ascendant can create huge churning over them, because see, these are watery signs. Even Pisces also, if you have a child, you can become too obsessed with the growth of the child, like you want some big dreams for them. But it doesn't happen in that way. You cannot keep putting pressure on things because of your mental, your intellect telling you something. You cannot put that onus on somebody. Even Rahu gives a very shady kind of a behavior in love affairs also, because 5th house is the love affairs house. So if you have an affair going on, you have your partnership going on, don't put too much pressure on that, or try to fathom what is actually going on in that area, because it gives disturbed partnership. Again and again, I must emphasize that Rahu and Ketu, whichever house it is transiting, the relationship significance of that house get disturbed. Material significance gets boosted. Relationship suffers a lot because Rahu, Ketu are very different plane of planets. Rahu is very ambitious, very highly, that kind of a planet, 3D materialistic, and Ketu is a very I want loneliness, I want solitariness, but so that doesn't work always. We have to understand we are dealing with people all the time in our life. So that's why a bit of caution is always taken, but this is a good transit regarding the material things. The certain bouts of luck can also happen. If you're in a trading business, a certain luck can also favor. If Jupiter is well placed in your horoscope, luck can suddenly give you some boost. But see, Rahu lures you towards the luck and later it can create some havoc. So be a little careful about it, and whatever sudden gain, sudden growth you get from the 11th house, I will say that you remain satisfied with it and don't keep on thinking that even better things can happen. What I'm trying to say is that being a Scorpio ascendant, being highly ambitious person from within, you don't stop dreaming, but you have to understand that though the transits can be favorable, they also, you should not go overboard with the things. Just the caution, that much of caution is required. Otherwise it is a good transit, it is not a bad transit. Only 5th Rahu can create some delusion in your intellect, so be a little wary of that. Sagittarius ascendant, Rahu is coming into your 4th house and Ketu in the 10th house. So Rahu, 4th house, again some dissatisfaction with the house area can happen, because this is not an energy for the house area. Rahu is a very outgoing planet. 4th house is, it makes it, it comes with its big dreams and big obsessions in the 4th house. The mother can be dominating. The mother can expect more from you. You can feel a little, disturbed by these things. Your home environment can be too demanding, or it requires too much of your energy, too much of your attention, where in the Ketu 10th house can give you good results also, because Ketu works sudden profession changes, sudden recognition, sudden some good offers can happen also, Ketu in the 10th. But understand one thing, Ketu is in the Virgo, which is a Mercurian sign. Now Mercury, where it is situated in your horoscope, that is also important. Suppose you have a 10th Ketu transit and your Mercury is in the 12th house, then there can be some job can go also, and you have to shift to another job which is very unknown to you. You have to make that decision. Sudden changes can be felt. Sudden shift, maybe you're dealing with one boss, you're okay with it. Sudden, he can shift from your life. Some other person comes and then you feel little irritated about that thing. So this suddenness Ketu gives in whichever area it is transiting. Though the 10th house is good for it, not bad, because Ketu, some sudden gains can happen, obviously, in the 10th house in a professional field also, especially if somebody is having that kind of a profession which deals with mystical things, which deals with astrology, which deals with photography, with spiritual practices, that kind of because see, Ketu is a very offbeat planet. It does not deal with daily things. So that kind of if you're in a profession, then it gives a boost to those areas. So that can happen, but be a little cautious about hidden enemies also in the workplace. That can also happen, because Ketu, you don't understand what Ketu is doing. It's a very hidden kind of an energy. It is a introspective energy. You have to understand what is going around you. So a little careful and caution in that area. Otherwise, Ketu can give some good results also. If Mercury is well situated, you can get sudden good job offers, and sudden recognitions can also happen. Yes, With the father, it can be a relationship can go a little sour, it can go towards south a little bit, because Ketu creates certain situations which you may not agree with the person that concerning that house, because 10th house is also the house of the father. That kind of a situation also Ketu can create. But Rahu, this energy in the 4th house can create some problems with your sanity of the mind and your contentment at heart and your well-being, because you can feel some issues with staying at home itself. You can feel too much of energy, too much of obsession with it, too much of people wanting or demanding from you certain things. So real estates can be okay, you can, but you have to go through the papers carefully. Anything whenever you do the regarding the house that Rahu and Ketu is traveling, some solid research work and a lot of thinking should be going into that area, practical thinking. Don't be carried away with the dreams, because already this Pisces is a dreamy energy of Rahu, and a lot of big ambitions may creep up in your heart. You you want to deal with them, but it can give some emotional outburst also, so be a little careful. It's a okay transit, 50-50 transit. Rahu in 4th, some transformations can happen in your life because it is aspecting the 12th and 8th house also from the 4th house. So all in all, it's an okay transit for the Sagittarius ascendant. Now Capricorn, Rahu is going in the 3rd house and Ketu in the 9th house. 3rd house Rahu is a good energy. It will give you vigor, it will give you confidence, it will give you goal-oriented approach towards work. If you are going towards certain things which needs your attention and your effort, you will be able to put the effort in the right direction. That kind of an energy Rahu can give in the 3rd house. It's a dynamic house, again a Upachya house, so Rahu works with that energy better. You can get help from your siblings, lower siblings also. They can be powerful, they can help you in certain ways. That energy is fathomable. You can get some help from your neighbors also. All these things Rahu can create over here. Ketu in the 9th, you may want to go to distance journeys, to pilgrimages. You can want to do philanthropy. You can want to give some certain amount of money towards institutions where rituals or maybe some good cause. But also just be aware of it. Don't unnecessarily give away. Sometimes deception can also happen. Taking advantage of your faith, people can deceive you also. That kind of things can also happen in the 9th house. Higher learning can go through a problematic phase, because see, Ketu tries to cut it off. If it is not a very ancient subject, suppose you want to do a modern subject and you want to go for higher studies, some hindrances can be faced in that area. And also luck can sometimes sudden change of luck can be, fortune can happen, because 9th house is the fortune house. Sudden change, you are putting in effort in the 3rd house, because Rahu is there. You are reaching a point where it can bring result, but sudden change of result can Ketu can also give. And also this is also a father's house, 9th house also. We see father from the 9th also. Some disturbances with the relationship can happen, some drifting away due to different kind of ideology. All these things Ketu can give in the 9th house. But overall, it is not a bad transit at all. It is a good way. Rahu in 3rd and Ketu in 9th. Rahu in 3rd, especially, that energy is good to harness, and you will get back some vitality in your life, because Rahu was traveling in your 4th house. There was a lot of problem with Rahu in the 4th, because Rahu gives a lot of issues in the 4th house with the place where we stay also. So now, because Rahu has shifted to the 3rd house, it is a much better energy. You will feel a lot of relief in this Capricorn ascendants. You will feel much relieved from all the bothersome, cumbersome situation that you had been going on. So this is a welcome transit for you all. It's a good transit. Now Aquarius ascendant, Rahu is in the 2nd and Ketu is in the 8th. Whenever Rahu is there in the second house is regarding the family that we grow up, the food we eat, the speech we say, these things. It's not a easy transit for the Aquarius people. Be very vigilant of what you eat, because as you know, Rahu is just the head part of a planet. Whatever it eats, it goes away. So you feel too much into eating, and then you should understand Ketu is there, your health can suffer badly. Ketu being in the 8th house, it can create some issues in the genitals, in the lower part of the body. You can go through a lot of transformations in the 8th house. Sudden changes can happen in the 8th house. Ketu is not an easy energy at all in the 8th house. It is not easy. It is very difficult to understand what Ketu will be doing in this house. It is not an easy transit for the Aquarius people. I must say directly, you have to take very big caution about your health first and foremost, because Saturn is running on your ascendant, and as you know, Saturn is a very strict disciplinary master. So be very careful first and foremost about your health. Next is the money part of it. You can feel, because second house is the hoarded money, your savings, you can feel suddenly the savings are slipping out. It can happen. There are some unforeseen expenditure that can happen, which you won't be able to stop. Put a this thing, the money, suddenly you want to put a end to it. No, I don't want to spend, but due to some things, money can flow away. So that can happen. You can have a bitter relationship, not so good relationship with your in-laws. So don't at all during this time invest into stock markets and not. 8th house Ketu will bring sudden changes which you have, especially if you are running a Rahu Ketu Mahadasha, Antardasha or something. You have to be very careful with this transit. Be very careful what you speak also, because Rahu gives some very flowery and over the board speech. See, this is how the planets affect us. Why I am talking about all these things, because this is how the prediction comes, because we want to be careful in these areas. Whenever a transit is not so fruitful for us, suppose you already had a good transit, correct? You had Rahu in 3rd, now Rahu is going into 2nd, so you already had a good phase of Rahu. You had short distance journeys, you moved to different places, you had a good neighbors, you had a lot of energy in your but now, because Rahu is going to the 2nd house, you have to be a little vigilant about the life things that is going on, and because you know Saturn is there in the 1st house. So this is not an easy transit, but obviously if you take care of it, if you are in a dealing with the energies properly, you can sail through it. Definitely you can sail through it. So best of luck for Aquarius ascendants to go through this kind of a transit. You need some introspection. Ketu can bring in that also. 8th house, certain changes can happen that will force you to think about certain aspects of your life. That also usually happens. Okay, now Pisces, the last ascendant is Rahu is coming on the Lagna and Ketu in the 7th house. Now, as it is, you are dreamers and you have such kind of emotional this thing in your nature. So Rahu, when it comes on your Lagna, can magnify those things to a big extent. One must understand that Rahu is a force. That is why it is easy to harness, because it magnifies the thing. So there is nothing bad in thinking about oneself, being self-centered, egocentric. Everything in its limits is good, because somewhere you cannot always think about people if you want to grow in life. So you have to think about yourself. Certain times you have to be selfish about the things because you need to achieve something. That is not bad, but anything which goes overboard, because Rahu does not know the limit. That is the problem with this planet. So lot of changes will be felt, lot of some vitality. You'll feel that I want to do this immediately, I'm dreaming about it, and it can be achieved. So you become so self-absorbed that you forget the 7th house where Ketu is. So the partner or the people around you. Seventh house is the public, so that takes a back seat. So that area suffers, you know, the relationship, the part of it suffers. Though Ketu can also sometimes give marriage in this kind of a transit to which is little outcast from your caste. It can give marriage also into intercaste marriages and all these things. That can also happen. But you know, you are not too much worried about the seventh house at all, because again, that energy is a slow energy, and Rahu being on the ascendant, you will feel sometimes bouts of energy, bouts of emotions, sudden outbreak of emotion, lot of things. 1 and 7th axis is such, whenever Rahu Ketu is there, and 4th and 10th, it brings lot of transformations in the transit also. And you can feel hot-headed also at times. You can feel that you're too much, you want to do something about it, you want to, you know, break free of everything. But see, the energy is such, you need to understand, yes, you need growth, you have certain plans, you can grow in this 18 months of transit, but everything takes you know, slowly it happens. So you take your time, don't be in a rush, don't hit on others, don't agitate, you know, make people feel they are nothing. Don't be too overboard with your life. You definitely can achieve a lot of things in this 18 months, but everything needs proper planning, and then you can execute it slowly. So breathe, don't be in a hurry, and don't get emotionally too much upset if things don't happen according to you, because that also happens. Rahu in the Lagna, it gives so much of thinking that if things happen also, it feels that it's fizzling out. So that these kind of energy Rahu can give in the first house. Lot of transformations, you will, a lot of things you will, your personality will go for a little bit of change in this 18 months. And if it is natal Rahu is there, then definitely a lot of changes will happen in this transit. So okay, friends, so this was my prediction for the 12 signs. Hope you have a good transit, 18 months of Rahu Ketu, and I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.